An EC 103.1 sports presentation. Eureka College Red Devils men's and women's basketball on EC 103.1. This Red Devils broadcast is made possible by City Blue Technologies in Peoria, an Epson dealer serving Central Illinois with sustainable office printing solutions. By Windy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. And by Cornerstone Family Restaurant in Eureka. Now, let's go live to the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for coverage of today's game.
Welcome once again to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte. If you have been tuning in, we just finished our women's basketball broadcast, which we won by a very large margin, their first SLIAC game of the season. Here we have the men's team facing, as usual, Blackburn once again. So this is our men's first SLIAC game of the season. Both teams kind of warming up right now. Remember, our men's team, in terms of head-to-head going up against Blackburn, we are 47-24. So once again, we're just dominating Blackburn. Last game, though, we did end up losing 79-76, only by 3. Obviously, a close game, something we see a lot of. To sum it all up, Eureka, we just really didn't execute our game-tying free throws. We had a lot of opportunities at the line to try to come back and even make it close and tie it up, but we did not execute. That's going to be huge. Obviously, our last game, we did win. It was our first win of the season against Dominican at home. Drew, you want to tell me about that?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the season, the first 3 games, we really struggled with closing out. We'd have a really good first half of the basketball, and the second half we'd struggle, and we'd fall off a cliff. That game against Dominican, though, we finally put together a full game of basketball, and you can see what happened there. We are a good team. We just need to be able to close out games, and that is big going into the SLIAC. You want to be able to build momentum off that going into conference play. Against Blackburn, you're going to want to take care of business, start off 1-0 in conference play. As I said earlier before the women's game, the first game of the conference play is the biggest game of the season. It sets you off to a good tone and gets you in a good spot to go forward going into the conference play. Yeah,
that's exactly right. You just want to have a great start here. But remember, Eureka's last game, they did have a lot of key players, just like always. I mean, even through the first 5 minutes, unfortunately, the Stars were leading by just a point, but obviously that wasn't enough to hold Eureka. Eureka went on an 11-0 run in that first half. They actually extended their team lead by 8. That's how much they led by at the half. Dominican obviously cut Eureka's lead to 3. That was with over 17 minutes in the second half, but like always, the Red Devils pushed their lead back to 9, so a lot of back and forth. That's usually how it goes, and of course, Eureka kept finding ways to kind of manage, and of course, we beat Dominican 83-79, the final score. And Marian Bird, he's always been huge all season. He led the team with 24 points and had 10 rebounds, so he actually earned his second double-double of the season. On top of that, you have Marie Wilson. He had himself a season-high 14 points. He was 4 for 7 from the field. And, of course, Jacob Gonzalez, somebody who we've also been seeing a little bit more of recently, he had a new season high himself with 12 points coming off of the bench. So, once again, you're just looking for those keys of the game. Obviously, fast break points are huge. We always talk about that. Eureka had 9 fast break points last game against Dominican. Of course, you want your offensive rebounds. We talk about how beneficial those rebounds are. You know, we say it again and again, and almost like a broken record, we'll keep saying it. They are important. Eureka only had a total of 33 rebounds last game. That we were actually outnumbered against Dominican, but we still managed to pull on top. And, of course, you want to utilize those bench points. Just like we talked about in the women's game, they are just so beneficial. And, you know, you have those players like Jacob Gonzalez who can come off the bench and provide 12 points just on his own account. So it is going to be huge. Obviously, in terms of Blackburn, they have lost their last game of the season. They actually haven't won it all this season. They come in at 0-4. Remember, Eureka is coming in at 1-3, but Drew, is there anything else you want to add?
One thing I want to say is I want to see that scoring be spread out. Not so much spread out as, you know, Marion Bird and Pee Wee Brown are going to get their buckets in there. But you want to be able to see that bench scoring. You want to see the guys coming off the bench and be able to add production to this team, just like we did with the girls' game. The guys came off the bench and they added instant production. You want to see that with the men's game as well. Add instant production off the bench. Don't don't let the starters start off with a great pace and have the bench players come in and diminish that pace. You want to make sure that the pace stays the same throughout the game, no matter who comes in, and that camaraderie has to be real good going into this game.
That's right. Well, we're going to cut to break here right before the anthem and starting lineups, but stay tuned for the first SLIAC matchup of the season between the Blackburn Beavers and your Eureka Red Devils here on EC 103.1. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. Locally owned by Mike and Bob Mayo, Wendy Puff Pizzeria offers a unique variety of pizzas, appetizers, salads, and desserts. Wendy Puff is open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 and Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub at 112 South Main Street in downtown Eureka. They also offer online ordering at wendypuff.com.
Welcome back. We're in the middle of starting lineups right now. Blackburn about to introduce their starting five. I always love coming in and watching the light shows. It's just the coolest thing ever.
No, watching other teams, obviously we see Eureka and how we do it every game. But seeing how other teams do theirs is actually pretty neat.
I do have to admit, though, I got to say Eureka's light shows and announcing of the starting five is always superior.
I agree.
It just does not
maybe
have
that's
that
just
same
a little.
effect.
Maybe that's just a little bias there. But.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Well, hopefully going forward in this game, just like the women's game, we can build ourselves a good enough lead where we can have those guys that don't play very often come off the bench and be able to show Coach Chip why they deserve to be in the game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, so it looks like both teams are kind of starting to just get ready now, and obviously the lineups have been announced. Eureka just trying to grab a 1-0 lead in the SLIAC standings. Remember, this is their first game of the season for Eureka. It's going to be Brewer, Brown, Bird, Wilson, and Banzamuna Jr. Obviously going to be very, very important. So, Bird waiting for the tip-off. And this one, very quickly, Eureka is going to recover. That is Banzamuna with the basketball. Wilson, top of the key, going to pass it over. Banzamuna looking for some space. Brown, top. Wilson in the corner. Brewer, pump fake. Great ball movement from Eureka early on. Bird, corner three. Bang! Just like that, Eureka on top by 3.
What a great start for the Red Devils. Bird hits that corner 3, gets us going in the right direction early.
Yeah, exactly the kind of gameplay you want to see from Eureka, as Johnson in the paint fighting Cook, puts it up, no good, gets his rebound and very quickly stripped over there by Bird. Brown taking it up the floor.
Very good job there by Bird. Eureka's always going to be undersized in these events. Bird's a center, only 6'4", 6'5". That is very small in NCAA play. You'll be undersized most of your games, but he held his own right there against the bigger opponent there and forced him to miss that layup and got the rebound back.
Yep, that's exactly right. And as Brewer inbounds it, Wilson is at the top of the key. We know Wilson very good with ball handling. He has that nifty type of craft that he has been working on all season. Bird thought about the corner 3. In the middle, Brown, mid-range 2. Off the rim, no good. This one rebounded. And just like that, it's going to be Ken Alacan up the floor. Johnson in the paint, spins over Brown, no good, rebounded by Bird. So very quickly, Eureka off to a pretty great defensive start. Bird about the 3, bang!
It's going to be one of those nights for Amarion Bird.
It is, he's already off to a very hot start. That's exactly the kind of start that Coach Wilde wants to see from his players. Johnson going to pass it over, and that one's deflected. Wilson picks it up. Bird with the catch. Eureka taking advantage of turnovers. Banzamuna fighting in the paint, puts it up, no good. This one is going to be rebounded by Brewer. He'll find himself an open lane outside. Banzamuna thought about the 3. Bounce pass under the net, good layup from Brown. 8-0 Eureka early on here in this first half.
You love to see Banzamuna drive down the line like that and then have that defense collapse on him and find Pee Wee Brown on the baseline cut there for a nice finish.
Johnson fighting through contact. No foul call, but the ball does go out of bounds, and it is going to stay with the Beavers.
Going up for that layup, and Pee Wee Brown got a hand on it. Great hands there by Pee Wee Brown, always active.
Grissom inbounds it over there. Canalican, corner, Johnson. Back to Hanvey, back to Johnson. Here's a three from Canalican. Lucky bounce, no good, and this one unfortunately stays with Blackburn. You can see Banzamuna kind of saying, that's my bad, I tipped it out, but
just couldn't get that second hand on there to confirm the rebound, to hold on to it. Only got one hand on it, roll out of bounds on him. You know, it happens on those long rebounds on those threes.
Grissom.
Bird with good active hands right there.
Yeah, and he's going to take it up the floor. Bounce pass, Brown under the rim, back up by Banzamuna, that is good. And very quickly a timeout from Blackburn. So a quick 10-0 run by Eureka, and the Red Devils proving that they are here to play. But both teams take a break. We will as well. Stay tuned here on EC 103.1 for Eureka Red Devils basketball.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Cornerstone Family Restaurant of Eureka. Locally and family-owned for nearly 25 years by Michael and Donna Sweeney, Cornerstone Family Restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. They are open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dine-in, carry-out, or order online, Cornerstone Family Restaurant is located on Center Street on the west edge of Eureka. Get more information or order online at cornerstone-family-restaurant.com.
Well, we're back here. Eureka with a very quick 10-0 run, and they are up by double digits now. Just Blackburn trying to just find a response very quickly here. Handoff lost by Johnson. He recovers, though.
Pee Wee Brown always having those hands active.
Side pass here, three, and that is no good from Hanvey. Blackburn able to recover. Grissom outside. This one going to Johnson. No good. Rebounded there, and that one goes in. Good offensive board.
I believe that baseline ref missed it over the back call there on Wilson as he was trying to box out the big man there, and he reached over and tried to hit it off and go out of bounds. I believe they missed that over the back call, and so did Wilson. I agree with him 100% on that.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a foul call there, but Nick Cook, the junior out of Jacksonville, Illinois, able to get away with that one. I mean, Jackson actually has the most free throw attempts this season for for the Beavers. And obviously, when you play through so much contact, it's going to happen. You're going to get those attempts at the line as Wilson here passes it to his side. Banzamuna, Brown, back to Wilson. Fake pass. A lot of great ball movement. Bird thought about the three, goes up to the rim, puts it up and good.
That's a good way to finish the contact there by Bird. Doing it from the outside and from the inside today.
Yeah, and that's a just very quick response from Eureka as Bird adds on to his point total already. Johnson trying to find an open lane, runs into Cook for a minute, passes it outside. Directing traffic. Cook trying to get hands on the ball here in the paint, but he's heavily guarded by Bird, and Brewer able to come up with it. Banzamuna, fast break opportunity, puts it up and good.
Great passer by Micah Brewer. Got the steal and laid it up for Banzamuna to just take care of business.
Feel like I'm going to be saying and good a lot tonight as Eureka leading 14-2. Cook outside trying to find some space. Paquette unable to get anything working. Paquette with a corner three, pump fake, mid-range two. No good. Cook with a great tap to keep it in play. Here outside Johnson with a corner three. That is good. So it is
Cook
now
using his size very well in the paint there to make sure that Blackburn has their second chance points.
Yeah, and here's another picked opportunity. Paquette moving up the floor, trying to pass it around here. Johnson in the corner, trying to fight to the rim. Underhand, and no good. Banzamuna gets the rebound. Wilson maybe trying to slow things down here. 15.5 left in this first. It is still very early. Brewer, top of the key, back to Wilson. Eureka's ball movement has been very great all game. Brown to Bird, who spins, puts it up, no good. He was falling well. He went for that shot. Johnson. And here for the easy layup through contact. That is number 3, Darius Duff. Great job by Duff to fight. Eureka already had a very hot start to this game. You don't want to try to do too much, and obviously you cannot let Blackburn kind of come back here. You want to keep that momentum going. Brown obviously realizing that, taking his time. Wilson resetting, trying to find maybe an opportunity here for Eureka. Brewer to Wilson to Brown, pump fake, runs up to the rim, puts it up, no good, and no foul call. Gets his rebound, and finally the whistle is blown. He will go to the line.
There's one thing you can say about Pee Wee Brown. He will drive to the lane every opportunity he gets, take the shots, and draw fouls. That is the biggest aspect of that man's game, is he can draw fouls, get himself to the free throw line, and get those free and easy points.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Cornerstone Family Restaurant of Eureka, locally and family owned for nearly 25 years by Michael and Donna Sweeney. Cornerstone Family Restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. They are open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can dine in, carry out, or order online. Cornerstone Family Restaurant is located on Center Street on the west edge of Eureka. Get more info or order online at cornerstone-family-restaurant.com. So Brown unable to knock down that first one, and he converts on the second attempt. 15-7, Eureka on top. It's going to be tough here for Blackburn. I mean, they maybe not as heavily defended as our women's team was, but as that is number 13 on Blackburn, Otis Grissom, to knock down the 3 and make it a 5-point deficit. Eureka still on top, but Eureka still playing pretty great defense overall. Back to Wilson. Brewer, we know he's a great 3-point shooter. Got to be afraid, got to watch out. Cannot give Brewer any opportunities to shoot behind the arc.
And Brewer, not the last game, but the game before that against Monmouth, Brewer had 3 big-time three-pointers late in the game. You know he's got that ice in his veins when it comes from behind the arc shooting from Micah Brewer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He was 3 for 5 from behind the arc, and that's when you're shooting over 50% from 3, you're gonna obviously have people watch out for you. Bird, top of the key, spinning. Bounce pass, Banzamuna with a 3, no good. Rebounded over there by Johnson. Very quickly, Duff trying to fight through paint, Euro step, and he's gonna get called for a foul.
A little pushing and shoving there between Pee Wee and Grissom.
Yeah, Brown obviously a little aggravated there, maybe not happy with that foul call.
Ref having to talk to them both.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. We know that it gets a little aggressive. I was talking earlier before even the women's game to some of the people here in Blackburn, and they were saying, you know, sometimes it does get a little aggressive here, and we're already seeing that very early on.
And, you know, it makes a difference when you get into conference play. You see each other twice. That bad blood's going to boil over at some point. Granted, it is the first conference game of the year, but it could get it started very soon.
Coach Wilde not happy with Brown. And you could already tell, I mean, Grissom's probably just going to try to egg on Brown. You can see it all game. That could be a very common factor as Brewer, top of the key. You don't want to get this Red Devils team hot because they will take advantage of that. So the whistle blown here, clock stopping at 13:26. Eureka had a very large lead, now only up by 3, 15-12 the score.
Just got to take care of the ball a little bit more, turn it over a little bit more than we should be.
Yeah, and you said it exactly right, as there is an extra 3 points there for Eureka. I didn't see who shot it as I was looking down.
Ray Banzamuna.
Banzamuna with a 3. Great job there. I didn't get the bang in, but trying to find some space. Finally putting it up is Paquette, and he will get called for the foul. Does not convert the extra 2, but he will have an opportunity here at the line.
Brewer called for that foul.
Yeah.
You'll have that a lot whenever you're the smaller defender on the bigger guy going up for the layup. Unfortunate circumstance there from Brewer.
Yeah, that's true. Especially, you know, sometimes there's not really much you can do. So, you know, especially being a shorter guy, you kind of just have to maybe, I'm not encouraging it at all, but maybe kind of just tap a little bit. You want to stick your arm out. It's a lot harder when you're obviously mismatched, but.
Yeah, because you don't want to just give them the easy 2 free points, but you also don't want to get yourself in foul trouble either.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Paquette able to knock down that second one right there. Wilson up the floor. Eureka up by 4, 13 left in this first half. Nearly picked off there, but it's going to be Provost. Now Bird, he's going to put it in, and just like that, Eureka extends their lead. Great job by Bird to find some spacing, be able to have that room.
Bird's been everywhere early to start this game. You love to see that from your star players.
Yeah, and he's been very crucial for this Red Devils team. And I know I say that a lot as Paquette spinning, doesn't get the layup. And it looks like the Blackburn fans are trying to get a call for goaltending against Bird. No call, though. Wilson up top. Provost in the middle. Banzamuna at the rim, puts it up. Rolls in and comes out, and Paquette comes up with it. He's going to take it down the floor.
Pee-wee call for the foul there.
Yeah, and Brown maybe playing with a little too much aggression there. You know how exciting he can get, and that I'm sure that adrenaline is rushing right now.
You know, Pee-wee likes to play with those active hands. He likes to stay on the ball, you know. Try and make it as difficult as you can for the Blackburn Beavers, and he does that every game. You get yourself in foul trouble every once in a while, but you love the aggression there from Pee-wee Brown.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing to see, definitely, but just got to be careful. You know, in NCAA Division III rules, you only get 5 fouls until you're fouled out. It's always something you got to watch out for, especially for one of your key players like Brown, as Barr passes to Paquette, trying to push past Provost. Spinning around, doing all sorts of things, puts it up, and no good. Tipped out. Wilson with the handle. Top of the key. Bird trying to find some space. Back to Wilson. Holds onto it for a bit. Provost back to Wilson once again. Provost thought about the 3. Bird in the corner. Pump fake. Maybe could have had a shot there in the paint. Banzamuna, corner 3. Just short. Bird with the offensive board. Brown thought about it. Mid-range. That is good. And as I mentioned, you cannot get Pee-wee Brown started because he will take advantage.
You never know when Pee-wee Brown's in for a good night. You know, he averaged 20 points a game last year, second in the SLIAC in points per game. He is still that same player he was last year and will still do it to your team.
Yep, as Duff fighting through contact gets the foul call there. Banzamuna defending him, and you can see Brown and Banzamuna kind of talking, saying, you know, cannot do that sort of thing. I mean, we talked about it, and I mentioned it. Obviously, some of these Blackburn players might lead on these Eureka players to try to get them angry. You want, you know, if you're Blackburn, you're trying to get these guys in trouble. You just can't fall for it if you're Eureka, and that's what Brown is saying to Banzamuna.
And it's all right to play with passion, but you just got to be able to control yourself and not get too aggressive. Just play with passion, but stay calm. Passive-aggressive is a good way to say it.
Yeah, that's perfectly. So Eureka up 22-15 as Jacob Gonzalez comes in for Eureka. Remember, Gonzalez out of Los Angeles, California. He's been pretty big for Eureka as well.
This is where we get to see the bench depth come in for Eureka as Dylan Logston and Jacob Gonzalez checks into the game. You want to see what these guys from the bench can do. You want to keep that same aggression that Pee-wee's had started for them early and Wilson had started from early. We'll see what they can do.
It's going to be Gonzalez taking it up the floor. Like you said, Dylan Logston in the game now. Provost back to Gonzalez. Provost thought about a 3. Spinning around. Gonzalez his only option. Bird, another corner 3. Bang! Marion Bird continues to stay hot here in this first half.
3 for 3 from corner 3s. You love seeing that early.
Yeah, that is his spot right now. Cannot let him get hot, which is too late for Blackburn. It's going to be another 2 points there. Otis Grissom with a nice, easy layup. After fighting through contact, it looks like Ben Carter getting ready to sub in eventually. Just over 10.5 here in this first half. Provost, Logston wants the ball. Provost finally going to give it to him. Logston trying to fight. It's going to be a 3 from Provost. Bang!
With a hand in his face, did not matter. Provost knocks down the big tray.
Yeah, I mean, Provost using all 5'10" of his height to get just over his defender there, be able to release the ball. Nice, easy three. Eureka back up to a 10-point lead. Trying to find some room. Cook fighting through Bird, and he puts it in. Great defense there by Bird to just keep his hands up, obviously.
Not much you can do with that bigger opponent there.
Yeah, that's right, and you don't want to give him that extra opportunity as that one's picked off there. Here's a fast break opportunity from Blackburn. Grissom, three, good. And from a 10-point lead cut down to 5. Blackburn starting to find their role as Jacob Gonzalez calling a timeout. So as both teams take a break, so will we. Eureka 28, Blackburn 23 with just over 9.5 to go. Stay tuned for first half coverage here on EC 103.1.
EC 103.1.
WXEC LP Eureka.
A Eureka College station.
At 103.1 on your FM dial.
Worldwide on the iHeartRadio app.
And on any streaming device.
EC 103.1.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Welcome back here as your Eureka Red Devils currently lead at 28-23. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte here on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. And I mean, it's been pretty back and forth. We can already tell it. There will be a lot of aggression coming from both sides in this game.
I like Coach Chip's idea there to call timeout. Blackburn will start to get the momentum. Try and stop that before it gets even worse.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. Like you said, it was a very good idea. Wilde, obviously coaching in his 19th season, knows what he's doing. He has the experience for sure. Both teams back in play. Provost bounced past the Logsdon. He wants a three, you can tell. Provost, another three, and that one falls just short. And Blackburn fans not afraid to tell him.
Provost knows he can make that. He just made one just like that. You know, maybe be a little bit more patient and look for a better shot, get that better shot selection. But he knows how he can make those.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Ben Carter now in the game for Eureka. We're seeing him for the first time tonight. Cook wants a hand on the ball. He sets a screen there for Grissom, who fights to the rim, and that is no good. Rebounded there by Bird.
Very good job by Jacob Gonzalez to get back off that screen.
Gonzalez fighting through contact. Provost wants it. Fans still heckling him. Bird with a three. Just short. Rebounded by Logsdon. Great job to get there. Provost. No good. And you know he wanted that one. Maybe to shush the fans a little bit, but there is a foul call on the other side of the floor. This one looks like it's staying with Blackburn.
I believe that was on Amarion Bird.
Yeah, so Bird, who has been hot all game, gets a foul. And with 8:42 left here in this first half.
Coach Chip is not agreeing with that call. You can see him over there talking to the ref.
Yeah, and, you know, Coach Wilde obviously not afraid to use his voice. It's always a good thing from a coach sticking up for his players. Grissom fighting through contact, and that's a great job at drawing the foul.
Pump fake, get him up in the air. That's textbook right there from Grissom.
Yeah, I was talking to Kareem, one of our other broadcasters, the other day, and I told him that's like the DeMar DeRozan move right there. I always watch, you know, when DeRozan was on the Bulls, obviously, you want to see him do that pump fake move, and finally when you get the defender to fall on you, you kind of just flick the ball in the air, and whether you make the basket or not, you're going to draw the foul every single time, and that's exactly what Grissom does right there. But he did miss that first one, trying to get the second one right here. And he does.
Sam DeJesus checks in for the Red Devil, give him on Bird break there.
DeJesus in his senior year here at Eureka. Gonzalez to Provost. Provost, you could tell, maybe trying to use his aggression to his advantage. Logsdon, Gonzalez top of the key. Back to Provost in the corner. Carter We know Carter can shoot from the three. Logsdon mid-range. A little too strong there. Gonzalez nearly got the offensive board. This one taken by Grissom. He's going to take it himself. Guarded by Provost. Finding some space and putting it up. No good. Gonzalez with the rebound.
Town wanted a foul call there on Provost from the back, but didn't get that call.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of players, as Gonzalez goes up, no good. Carter with the rebound, and that is good. 6-point lead, Eureka.
Very, very good offensive rebound there from Ben Carter, using his strength and size to get in there and rip the ball away from Blackburn and put it back up for two.
Yeah, like you said, Carter's standing at 6'4", 195, and those offensive boards are just so crucial. Cook in the paint fighting against DeJesus. Gets it up, and that is good. And I will say, DeJesus can typically fight in the paint, but right there, Cook just able to kind of out-push him there and use his height and strength to his advantage. Provost in the middle. Carter fighting in the paint. Back to Provost outside. Trying to go to the rim. This one picked off there by Grissom, but the ref blows the whistle and says it's going to stay here with the Red Devils.
I like what Provost is trying to do there, drive in, but sometimes you just got to be a little patient there. There was 4 Beavers right there in the paint. You don't want to drive in and lose control of the ball. Thankfully, he got called for a reach and foul and stays Red Devils ball.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially with one of his teammates already in the paint, you know, you don't want too many guys in one spot. You want to try to find that spacing. Gonzalez, good. That is a great job from Gonzalez to inbound to DeJesus. For DeJesus to get it quickly back to Gonzalez, and the extra 2 points for Eureka as they lead 32-26.
That is the kind of spacing you're looking for on offense.
So Paquette having the ball, getting it to Cook. We know Cook can fight. DeJesus on him. A lot of movement, and he's blocked by Carter. It sticks with Blackburn. Paquette, deep mid-range, and that is good, but, I mean, it is an offensive.
The Devils might have to send him more help down there on Cook. He's there going to give him to the ball and let him fight in the paint all day.
Yeah, and, I mean, as good as DeJesus is, it's one of those things where you cannot rely on just one teammate. You got to have multiple guys. Like you always preach, that help defense is so important. DeJesus in the paint. Carter, corner three, just short. And we're looking for one of those threes from Carter. We know he has it in him. Duff.
You don't miss those open threes that often.
Duff fighting against Logsdon in the paint. Spinning. Great defense from Logsdon, able to prevent anything there. Cook in the paint, nearly lost the ball. Need help here. DeJesus unfortunately fouls. And DeJesus doing all he can on that play.
If you're Coach Wilder there, you're wanting one of your guys to help slide down the paint and help DeJesus there. You can't go against all 6'7" of Cook alone.
Yeah, that's right. Cook does have an opportunity here at the line. Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn more about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com. So it's going to be Cook able to knock down that first one, and he goes 2 for 2 at the line there. Eureka now only leading by 2, 32-30 the score. Just under 6 minutes left to play here in this first half. Provost taking a little break. He's been pretty heavily involved all game. Instead, on the floor for Eureka, Jalen Johnson. We don't see a ton of Johnson. Remember, he is a senior at Eureka. Not a lot of playing time this season, but he's finally getting a shot here in a close game, trying to make a name for himself. Carter in the corner, Logsdon fighting in the paint. DeJesus, corner three, bang!
Great shot from the backup center right there, hits it.
Great job by DeJesus to have that spacing and nice smooth release. It's just ball so smooth coming out of his hands, and he's able to knock it down.
DeJesus picking up right where Bird left off.
And Duff unable to convert, wanted a foul call. Looking at the refs, tried to pick that one off. DeJesus got to slow things down. Back to Logsdon, now Gonzalez. Eureka has the ball in their court literally as Carter in the paint. Corner three, almost from Logsdon, thought about it. Carter with a nice easy layup under the basket.
And that play is set up by Dylan Logsdon. Got the ball in the corner, could have took a three, but pump fake, got his defender in the air, drove to the paint, had that defense collapse, went up for a jumper, but instead passed the ball to Carter down low for an easy layup.
Yeah,
Great play by Logston and a good finish by Carter.
Yeah, Eureka now up by 7. We will take a timeout here, but stay tuned to Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. Locally owned by Mike and Bob Mayo, Wendy Puff Pizzeria offers a unique variety of pizzas, appetizers, salads, and desserts. Wendy Puff is open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 and Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub at 112 South Main Street in downtown Eureka. They also offer online ordering at wendypuff.com.
I can't hear anything. Welcome back here for the first SLIAC matchup between the Blackburn Beavers and your Eureka Red Devils. Eureka on top, 37-30. It was a 2-point game at one point, but Eureka once again finding some momentum and remaining onto that lead as Duff, top of the key, passing it over there. Now with the ball, Barr going to the rim himself. He's blocked. No foul call. Great defense there from the Red Devils.
That's that help defense coming into play right there.
Gonzalez bounce pass over to Johnson. Now it's going to be Logston. Left wing. Gonzalez in the middle. Mid-range 2. He's so good at those, but he's not able to convert on that one. Duff taking it up the floor once again.
Great shot selection there from Gonzalez, so he wants those mid-range all day.
Paquette thought about the 3 instead. Rushes to the rim. No good. Gets it back. Tries to put up the layup. No good. Rebounded by Johnson.
Gonzalez tried to move a little too fast there and turn the ball over, but didn't come back to bite us.
Yeah, and it looks like Blackburn maybe on a bit of a drought here as Carter unable to go under the rim for that 2-point layup. Logston fighting in the paint against Duff. It's going to be a 3. No good there from, I believe that was Canalican. And it looks like Johnson back up the floor.
Jalen Johnson started for the Eureka Red Devils last year, so he knows what he's doing out there. Good backup point guard option.
Great ball movement from Eureka. Bang! Corner 3, Ben Carter.
There it is. There's that outside shooting we know and love from Ben Carter so much.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We've been waiting for it, and there it was. 10-point lead for the Red Devils. Here's a corner 3 from Canalican. No good. Rebounded by Carter using his height over Barr. Bounce pass there. Johnson in the paint. Passes it over. Logston with the 3. Bang! Eureka's 3 game starting to improve here at the end of this first half.
This is what you love to see. From the bench, from the starters, everybody getting in on that 3 action. We love it.
Yeah, and it's not too often you see teams get this hot from behind the arc, especially this early in a game. That's got to be an offensive foul. And
oh, they called him for a block.
Oh, I was waiting for the offensive.
Now that Blackburn's the bonus with 2.5 minutes left, you don't want to give them all these 3 points.
Yeah, especially, you're starting to build up your momentum as we were kind of touching on earlier, and you just don't want to give extra opportunities. And our Eureka men's team is just so good at preventing that. As Dolph able to knock that one down right there. It is now a 10-point game once again. Eureka remains on top. It does look like it'll be Banzamuna inbounding. Gonzalez will take it up the floor. Just under 3 minutes left to go here in this first half.
Marion Bird going to the table to check in along with Wilson.
Gonzalez top of the key. Can be Johnson Brown in the corner. Left wing to Jesus. Great cut there from Gonzalez to put it up and in.
Great job by DeJesus to find the cut, and great job by Gonzalez to cut. A lot of people don't cut in those opportunities, but he took advantage of it, got the ball on the fly, and put it right in.
Yeah, and Coach Wilde has his team work on that all practice in the corner. Trying to fight is Hanby, and that was picked off by DeJesus Gonzalez, taking it up the floor. Fast break opportunity. Brown looks like he was fouled, but no call. Oh, and there it is. Okay, I was going to say it looked like there wasn't going to be a call there.
I don't think they called it on the foul. I think they called it out of bounds, and the fans reacted because they said it was Eureka ball. But I don't think they called the foul because he didn't have possession of the ball in full. But that was definitely a foul in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. As Gonzalez DeJesus come back out, you see Wilson back in the game. And that was going to be put up and in. I believe that was Marion Bird, once again just continuing to add onto that point total.
Using every inch of his wingspan to do an up and under there. Great finish.
Looks like there was a foul there against Wilson, who looks a little bit shaken up. And it is going to be Eureka basketball, but he is in some pain and taking some extra time, hopefully recovering from that little slight injury. Looks like he's going to be okay to move on.
That was a offensive foul on Cook right there. But getting a little too handsy on the screen. It happens whenever you're a big guy like that trying to stop the defense and give your guys an open shot, but you can't do it all the time. They're going to call it every once in a while on you. He did not approve of that call, neither did the fans here, but it was the right call.
Yeah, and we see guys like that. Like in Dominican, there was that one center, too, who was just very aggressive as Brown loses the ball. They're able to keep it. Johnson fighting for it on the ground. Brown able to get it. Good save there by Eureka. Puts it up, and he is fouled. Great job by Brown to draw the contact.
There's Pee Wee again, driving to the lane, causing chaos, getting to the free throw line. That's what you love to see from him. That's when he's at the best of his game when he's doing that.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. Locally owned by Mike and Bob Mayo. Wendy Puff offers a unique variety of pizzas, appetizers, salads, and desserts. Wendy Puff is now open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 and Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub at 112 South Main Street in downtown Eureka. They also offer online ordering at wendypuff.com. As Brown goes 0 for 2 from the line, it'll remain 47-33, Eureka on top. Johnson fighting to the rim, puts it up, no good, rebounded by Bird, still using that height advantage.
Tried to feed Wilson a little too much there, Bird did. But I will say, with the way it's looking right now, Bird might be on his way to a back-to-back double-double. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just what it looks like. He's grabbing boards. He's making shots. He's already well over 10 points. He's out there balling, might I say. No pun intended.
Remember, Bird did have, and adding on to what you said, Bird did have his second double-double of the season against Dominican in their first win of the season. Here's an open three from Canalican. No good. Able to save it there is Duff. Nearly ran into our table for a second. Brown, mid-range two, in and out.
Banzamuna, big man in the paint, getting that offensive rebound.
And it looks like the Blackburn fans want to travel, but
I think they gave it to him.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was pushed a little bit, but yeah, that is going to be Blackburn basketball, unfortunately. So with 51 seconds left to go in this first half.
Banzamuna, though, with a big man rebound on that offensive glass. Unfortunate that he got called for a travel, because I do think he was pushing the paint. I mean, it's hard for us to tell because we're on the other end of the court, but
yeah, but that's the kind of rebounding you want to see. And Banzamuna doing a great job at
Pee Wee Brown with the tip and the steal.
And
so Wilson finds Pee Wee, who just got the tip.
Yeah, Brown able to add an extra two before the end of this first half here. 49-33, Red Devils leading. It's going to be Blackburn trying to get something going. Duff over to Cook. Back to Johnson. Johnson fighting in the paint. Cook having an open lane, puts it up. No good. Bird, another rebound, and Wilson up the floor.
You have to wonder here if Eureka's going to push it with 20 seconds left, or they're going to take their time to get one final shot.
Well, they could hold it until like you said, they could hold it here, and I would take the last shot of this half. Johnson up the floor. 5 seconds on the clock. Trying to find some space. Bird up and in and out, and the clock does expire. That is how the first half will end here. But Eureka on top, 49-33. And, I mean, wow, it seemed to be a very hot start for Eureka. And, you know, obviously then you have Blackburn trying to make their way back into this one. And they seem to be doing it fairly well until Eureka once again regained that momentum. And, I mean, because of it, you know, they're obviously able to stick with the lead here. That's what you want to see. Schulte, anything?
I think the most impressive thing by that in that half was first, like you mentioned, the hot start. That was a good thing to say. Blackburn did scratch and claw their way back into it, but they finished it off strong there. Eureka did. And the second thing is the three-point shooting. Three-point shooting was on fire for the Devils, and we need to keep that up. And I want to say one more thing going forward. We talked about this earlier, have a strong finish. We can't just play one half of basketball. We need to play two halves of basketball, make it a complete game.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. You just got to finish strong here. Make sure to keep that momentum, keep pushing. But we're going to cut to break here. Stay tuned for Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Cornerstone Family Restaurant of Eureka. Locally and family owned for nearly 25 years by Michael and Donna Sweeney, Cornerstone Family Restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. They are open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dine in, carry out, or order online. Cornerstone Family Restaurant is located on Center Street on the west edge of Eureka. Get more information or order online at cornerstone-family-restaurant.com.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
You're watching the Eureka College Basketball Halftime Show. My name is Derek Payton. I'm here with Dr. John Malone, Associate Professor of Radio Communications here at the university. And I just have a couple questions here for you today. My first one's going to be, where does this natural passion for radio come from, and when did you know that this is something that you wanted to do?
Well, when I was a kid, growing up, listened to a lot of radio, watched a lot of TV because my parents were school teachers, and I was kind of what they call a latchkey child, where you let yourself in and take care of yourself till mom and dad get home from work. And from the earliest time I can remember, I just had that bug that I wanted to be that person on the other side of that speaker. I wanted to be that person on the other side of that TV screen. And then gradually, as I got older, I realized I had more of a face for radio, so I decided that radio was going to be the way I was going to go.
And then so I looked into kind of your history and what you've been doing. You've been doing radio for a long time. So my question for you would be, how has the change in the times affected how radio is produced and what's kind of going on behind the scenes there?
Well, I started in radio in 1987, and that was while I was in high school. I did it through the Diversified Work-Study Occupations program, and then everything was live. There was no automation. There was no, walk-away programming. You basically played every single thing you did, and if it got on the air, you manually did it. So it was live, local, and we, being from a small town, WBYS, this first station I was at, covered a lot of community events, was very, very involved in covering, local news, information. I even, people joke around today, it was so local, I even read obituaries on the air. I read birth notices. I would read who got speeding tickets. We're talking hyper-local type of programming. And then as I moved into more competitive programming, coming into the Peoria radio market when I was in college, things were a little bit more specialized, and then it was right around that time that I got into the media business in Peoria when digital automation came along, and I was kind of at the forefront of that. So, it's kind of taken multi-steps. By the time I got through the first few years of out of college in 1993, that's when some deregulation passed with the FCC that relaxed ownership limits and such, and kind of made it more of a corporate dynamic that we have today.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a long answer to your short question, but
it's a good one. I kind of have a follow-up would be, being that you've been doing radio for so long and kind of in the business, would you say that it has become maybe easier for you to teach it? Or how does that kind of help you out?
Well, it became easier to teach it as I got more experience teaching.
Okay.
When I first got into teaching, you have to understand it was a total accident. I was at WMBD Radio in Peoria, and in '04 there was some management changes that took place, and I was laid off from that position. So during the summer of '04, I was approached by someone who I had known for years, who was working at Lincoln College in Lincoln, and they asked me if I would just come down and help out over the summer and get their radio station back on the air. They were having some issues there. And so I spent a summer at Lincoln in '04, and then the provost there at the time asked me if I'd like to teach classes. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I've never taught anything. I'm a broadcaster through and through. So I got thrown into the mix in teaching, and the first couple of years was a challenge. First of all, I only thought I was going to do it one semester. And I stayed another semester, and then stayed another semester, and then became basically permanent. And then Lincoln closed in 2022, and we moved the program to Eureka. So really, teaching has been something I've had to grow into because I wasn't born to do it.
Yeah, and so you said you've been teaching since 2004?
2004, yes.
So about 20 years coming up now.
Yep, this is my, I just in August started my 20th school year.
That's exciting. Congratulations
about
that. And so I have another question for you in the grounds of teaching. Do you kind of take a bit of excitement seeing people come in bright eyes, ready to do the radio, and seeing them grow and progress throughout their college careers?
I do, and I make no bones about it. My colleague Bud Broyles is really the person that keeps the day-to-day TV flame going, and I'm a radio guy. Yeah. I mean, I live, eat, breathe, and sleep radio. When I'm not here, I'm doing something involving radio all the time. Either I'm repairing radios at home, or I'm, doing part-time work at another radio station, or I build studios on the side. I'm just always engulfed in it. So I'm a very, very lucky man, Derek. If you are, and I think a very wise person told me this a long time ago, if your work and your career is also your hobby, you'll never work a day in your life.
It's true. That's true. And I can see you're always happy, you always got a smile. So I would say one of my questions is, hearing you about how that's your hobby and your passion, what would be some of the most fun, or one of your favorite projects you've worked on in your long radio career?
Well, I love talk radio. That's my passion, is the news talk radio format. I was a program director in news talk radio for 10 years. That was my last job in '04. So I always said that, boy, I just wish I could just go back and just for fun, go back and do talk radio again after all these years. And this last summer, it actually happened. I was approached by my old station, in fact. The gentleman who let me go in '04. We went to lunch and said, they've had some personnel changes. It's just the nature of the beast. The thing about being fired in radio, it's not like typical being fired in another job. I mean, it's nothing personal when it happens. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just like, we're going to go a different direction. It's nothing you did wrong, that sort of thing. So, I got called and I went to lunch, and from June 24th to August 9th, this past summer, I got thrown back in doing the same exact show I did years ago.
That's exciting.
The 3 to 6 afternoon show. And so I got my wish of going back and reliving it one more time. But the cool thing about it this time around is I got my wish, but I also knew there was an end date to it. I was just there for fun, knowing I was going to be coming back to this in the fall. So it was weird. It was even one of those first times ever where I actually had a countdown and actually could say goodbye to the audience, knowing this was my last day. And radio, if it's your last day, they'll just tell you after your show you're done and you're not coming back. You don't get a chance to say, I'm done on the air. Yeah. But so I had that 7-week summer job, and I got it out of my system. In fact, if I go another 20 years, I'll be just fine and maybe do it again.
Yeah. And so, taking your class, I do have one kind of personal question for you. I know you've voiced for some TV shows. What's that like? And how'd you get into that whole thing?
Well, I've always wanted to do voiceover work, and I've done a little bit of it over the years, but I've never really done it on a very serious level. And then one of my former students, Zach Lucan, who was a Lincoln College graduate, he actually is the executive producer of that show, Old Iron Adventures, on RFD TV. And he asked me if I would do the voiceover work and the narration for it. which I agreed to do it, and it's actually a paid position now for RFD TV, and it's a lot of fun. You take a lot of direction. You don't really have a lot of latitude to do it the way you want to do it. You do it the way they're going to tell you how to do it, because they're the director and you're just the talent. So yeah, it's fun, and I'd like to branch out to do a lot more of it. It's a highly competitive business, very competitive business to get into.
And you said you've been enjoying doing that?
I have. It's a good diversion. You can get into a rut. Zach told me over the summer, there was a couple of them. He said, I want you to redo those. And then he goes, no offense, but those were terrible. So I'm like, okay, well, tell me what I need to do. He goes, you just sound tired. You sound very, and I was tired.
Yeah.
It was after a long day of working at the radio station. And so, absolutely. It's a lot of fun taking direction and just kind of being on the talent end rather than the management end.
And, you bring up a point that you don't really think about often is when your voice is your job, and you kind of having a bad day, you can hear it. So what are some ways that you kind of make sure that I might not have it in me today, but I got to sound good on the radio, or I got to record these clips for these guys?
Well, unfortunately, Derek, with live radio, you don't have much of a choice. Your show's at 3 o'clock, and you got to be ready. And doing that over the summer on WMBD was kind of interesting because the first 5 days, the first 10 days, I was just still on a big adrenaline high. Like, man, I haven't done this for a long time, and I'm really enjoying it. Every minute is just awesome. By week 5 or 6, I was starting to slow down. Yeah. It was getting to where, okay, and I knew that's when it's time to hang it up and go back to school. Mm-hmm. Because it's like by the last week, August 5th through the 9th, I remember like August 6th, August 7th, just saying, all right, I got to go to the radio station. And first of all, doing talk radio, you got to do show prep. You had to prep and do all the stuff ahead of time because it's just you for 3 hours. You don't have music to play. So getting up, logging on the computer, doing all the show prep, literally driving down to the studio tired, like, man, I don't want to do this today. But you get in there, and like my producer, Courtney, and the others that were in the studio would just watch me, just sitting there, just all really tired. And then it's like the microphone goes on, and just
you're back to it.
Back on. It's just like something clicks.
Yeah, and
you do it.
I kind of got a follow-up for you because, I do the radio here, EC 103.1.
Yes.
And so maybe my last question for you would be if you have any advice for young people who do the radio or people who are trying to, get into that and they're just now starting out, what advice would you have for them? Understand that you're in a communication medium and you have to make meaningful connections to your audience, and radio is a very intimate medium. It's a one-on-one medium. It's not like TV. TV is more of a masses type medium. Radio, when you're in a studio, you treat it like you're talking to one person on the other side of that speaker, and you make that meaningful connection and speak in singulars. You. I'm talking to you right now, not all of you people out there, right? Keep it all very singular and keep it as intimate and personal as you can. That's a good piece of advice. Thank you. You're watching Eureka College Basketball's halftime show. My name is Dirk Payton, and this is Dr. John Malone.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. Locally owned by Mike and Bob Mayo, Wendy Puff Pizzeria offers a unique variety of pizzas, appetizers, salads, and desserts. Wendy Puff is open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 and Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub at 112 South Main Street in downtown Eureka. They also offer online ordering at wendypuff.com.
Welcome back here to second half coverage, and thank you for tuning in to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte, here at the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. So yeah, we are getting ready for second coverage of this Red Devils' first SLIAC matchup of the season against the Blackburn Beavers. And I mean, it's been a lot of back and forth, but thankfully Eureka able to pull through after that first half ending. They currently lead 49-33. Schulte, anything?
I just want to see them keep their foot on the gas, you know. Don't let Blackburn crawl back in the game. They had their moments where they went on runs, but don't limit those runs. You can't completely stop the runs, but you can limit them. And make your runs better than theirs, you know. Just keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, that's right. We know basketball is a game of runs. There's a three from Johnson. That is good. And that is how scoring gets started in the second half. It's going to be Wilson up the floor. Heavily guarded there. Harvey on him. Brewer, top of the key. Corner. Brown. Well, you know, he has the ability to become a fourth quarter hero. Bounce pass, Banzamuna. Brewer thought about the three. Banzamuna wants it. Brown at the rim. And he's going to get fouled.
What he is so good at, I've been talking about it all game, drawing those fouls. But we need Pee Wee to start knocking down these free throws because if I remember correctly, he is 1 for 4 from the line today, and that is not ideal. Those are 3 points that you left on the table. You just need to start making them, knocking them down. Right now is a good time to start. Second half, try not to miss any of them, obviously.
Yeah, and we know Brown has had a little bit of a struggle with his free throw shooting. You know, the fans obviously trying to throw him off his game. Unable to do so on that first attempt.
It's a good start. Good start right there. We need to knock down the second one too, though.
Yeah, so Eureka now at 50 points. Blackburn 36, Brown only 1 for 2. And it's going to be Johnson taking it up the floor for the Beavers. He's going to pass it in the corner. Hanby back up top, Canalican. And here is number 13, Otis Grissom, who we see so often go to the rim for the nice, easy layup. Wilson back up top. Brewer gets it stolen. And Grissom once again with aggressiveness back at the rim. That is good. Back-to-back drives. Now a 10-point lead for Eureka.
You see how fast that one went on a switch. That 4-point swing right there for Blackburn really got them alive. And now the crowd's back into it, and that's not what you want if you're a Eureka Red Devil.
Yeah, Eureka on a 6-0 drought. There's another turnover. Johnson able to pick it up. Wilson trying to prevent it from scoring. Puts it up. No good. No foul. Brown comes up with it. He's got to get it to Bird here. Fast break opportunity. Puts it up. Foul and nearly good.
He wanted that and one. He just tapped his chest. It's on me. He knows that he should have made that layup. Yeah. Knock down these 2 free throws. You didn't get the and one, but knock down these 2 free throws. It does just as well.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, just missing on that fast break opportunity layup. He had it perfectly. He found the spacing. He got it up in time, unable to, get that lucky bounce. And as you mentioned, he will have an opportunity here at the line for 2. These are crucial. Remember, we talked about this earlier in the women's game tonight. They add up at the end of the night, and you just need these free throws if you're trying to pull away as he comes up short of that first one. And, man, let me tell you, these bounces, sometimes they are just so unlucky.
Coach Wildy trying to get his team fired up for these free throws. You can't have him missing this many of them all the time. You got to be able to knock them down because this could be make or break with the game. If Blackburn goes on a big run like they just went on one, this could be a big part of the game.
Yeah, especially, when you're losing games by 1 or 2 points, such low-digit losses, you got to have, these free throws to allow you to come back in those tight games as Grissom under the rim. That one gets a lucky bounce.
We're going to have to slow him down. He's having a hot start to the second half.
Yeah, so he came out of this first half, and now he's, like you said, he's just all over the floor. Seems to be involved in every play, nearly stripped from Brewer. Wilson double-teamed Grissom and Johnson on him. Pass to the corner. Brown tried to cut to the rim, and he's going to get called.
I believe that he sets on the baseline on the other side of the court. I believe that's what they called him on.
Yeah, so a turnover here, and Eureka still having yet to earn a field goal in the second half. Johnson hands it off to Grissom. Grissom's been heavily involved. Cook, we know he could fight. A lot of pushing against Bird. He's able to knock that one down.
We need that help defense right there.
Yeah,
Cook gets the ball, all 6'7" of his frame. Need to be able to get down there and help out Bird.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Cook. Not one guy can guard him. Wilson wanted the 3. Bird, corner 3. No good. Rebounded. Brewer able to come up with it. Brown fighting in the paint. Puts it up. No good. Bird trying to fight. Finally gets rebound. It. Pressure on him. Trying to find some room. Backdoor pass. And that is good.
Finish by Banzamuna. Great finish over the tall defender Cook there. Banzamuna showing no remorse there and finishing that layup.
Yeah, great backdoor pass there from Bird, and Banzamuna, as you mentioned, able to knock that one down. Grissom Euro step. That one doesn't get the lucky bounce. And finally, Eureka gets a stop. Wilson getting fouled, though, running up the floor. And he is going to have to inbound this one from the sideline.
That Banzamuna layup all started with Imanian Bird getting his own rebound, battling for it. It was tipped 10 times, give or take, in the air. Dribbling it out, driving in, having the defense collapse on him. Bang, finds Banzamuna on the baseline.
Yeah, and that's exactly the type of, I guess, stick with it kind of movement you want to see from Eureka. Bird wants the ball. He won't get it. Finally, the ball makes its way in his hands. Brewer thought about the corner three. Step back. Corner three. No good. Just missing. Cook tapped it over to Grissom, who's going to take it up the floor himself. Pass across the court, and that one goes out of bounds. And it looks like it hit a fan over there in the corner. So a turnover by Blackburn. Thankfully, Eureka does get the ball back. They currently lead 53-44 here very early in the second half.
Had that 16-point lead going into half. You see Blackburn kind of crawling away back into it, only down by 9 now. We need to get that lead built back up.
Brewer up top. Grissom on him, and that one's going to be picked off over there by Barr. Cannot happen if you're Eureka.
Good hands by Marion Bird.
Yeah, so unfortunately the turnovers are starting to appear a little bit more here in the second half, and as usual we called it, like every game, you know, the clock does tend to stop more often in the last half of the game. Duff passes it in the corner. Barr trying to fight to the rim, pushing past Bird, gets it up with the left hand, and good.
Great finish there.
Yeah, I got to be honest, that's always hard. I mean, as a right-handed person, I could never imagine scoring a basket with my left hand. Here's Bird in the corner. Johnson on him. Bird passes it to Brown, fighting against Barr, puts it up short. Brown comes up with the rebound, and he's fouled.
So good at going to the line. I'll keep saying it every time he does it because he is so good at it. That's the best aspect of his game. Driving in, getting in the lane, making the layups, and going to the line.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, it's almost routine for him. He just does it so often. It's almost like muscle memory to the point where he does it so often, it's just engraved in his system. And at this point, all you have to do is execute.
I know we talked about this earlier, like right after halftime, but Eureka put together such a great first half. Such a great first half team. Last game and the game before that, we played a full game. Granted, against Monmouth, we lost by 3 points. We ended up winning the second game, but the other 3 games before that, we were only a first half team, and I don't want that to be the case today. And we need to start figuring it out now when we put it together a full game.
Yeah, that's right. So for Barr, instead it is now Canalican. Canalican, remember, he is only shooting 50% from the line coming into this game. And he does only have 2 opportunities, so it's not super impressive. I know 50% usually sounds good, and there's a turnover from Blackburn. It is going to be Eureka basketball.
When you're shooting from the line, you want to shoot somewhere from that 75 to 85, 75 and up range. Anything below that is subpar because those are free, easy shots that you need to be making. You practice those every day at practice, you know. Just got to knock them down.
Yeah, coaches all around the basketball world do kind of preach that free throw practice. Bird, right wing, back to Gonzalez, who stands on the Beavers logo. Now Brown, right wing. Heavily guarded, back to Bird. Red Devils with a lot of great ball movement here. Gonzalez back to Banzamuna in the corner. Guarded by Canalahan. Brown up and just missed a little too strong on that attempt. And a foul against Pee Wee Brown, kind of questioning, throwing his hands up in the air, saying, you know, why? What did I do? But
that was definitely a foul.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to get away with it there, but unable to do so. And, you know, once the call's made, you can't go back. So all you got to do here is just continue playing as Duff will take it up the floor.
Just frustrated after missing that layup, trying to get the ball back too quick, being too aggressive there by Pee Wee Brown.
Grissom with a lot of great footwork there. Pequet taking it to the rim, pushing Brown. Surprise, no offensive foul. That looked like a little bit of too strong of a shove, but he converts for 2. Wilson up the floor. Gonzalez back to Wilson. Now Bird gets his hands on the ball. In the middle, Gonzalez, short mid-range. That one rolls over and in.
Took 5 minutes for Eureka to get their first field goal of the second half, not including free throws.
Yeah, and that's, it's just one of those things you have to work on. You got to be more aggressive. Canalahan, open three up top. No good. Rebounded by Bird, who gets, looks like an over-the-back foul. It will be Eureka basketball.
Now maybe that first bucket there by Gonzalez, maybe that'll get the proverbial lid off the top of the basket. We can start knocking some shots down.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely hope so. You had such a great end to that first half. You were going back and forth throughout the entire game, and at that end of the first half, like I said, Eureka started to pull away, and obviously free throws have been an issue for the Red Devils, but as long as you're able to convert those field goals, I think you'll be fine. And of course, you still want to make those free throws if you can, but for now, I would say we have a decently comfortable lead. Still got to play defense, though. Bird in the corner. Back to Gonzalez up top. Wilson. Eureka's ball movement has been efficient all game. Gonzalez back to Wilson. Now Bird. Now Brown in the corner. A lot of great footwork and movement. And that's a great cut from Amarian Bird to get there and knock it down.
Eureka has been cutting very well this game to the basket.
10-point lead once again for the Red Devils, who are starting to find some momentum. Johnson, bounce pass over there. Cook trying to fight against Bird, who puts his hands up, exactly what you want to do. Here's a wide open three, no good over there from Duff, and Wilson comes up with it. Wilson taking his time. Good idea. Got to pass it here, Gonzalez. Duff on him. Back to Wilson, who nearly loses it. Bird thought about the three. I mean, this ball movement, as Brown puts it up, and that is good.
Great pass by Bird to find Pee Wee Brown on the elbow there, and he just floats it in.
But as I was saying, this ball movement from Eureka is unmatchable. Another open three from Duff, and he misses, and Banzamuna left it wide open. He smiles on the way down. He knows Duff isn't like that.
And he is in Duff's head.
Yeah, Duff is not that guy. I'm sorry, he's just not. And Banzamuna knows exactly.
Banzamuna is playing mind games with Duff, and Duff knows and he hates it.
Brown, looks like an alley-oop attempt. Brown spins, puts it up, and good. Pee Wee Brown starting to fight back, and Blackburn is going to take a timeout.
Don't let Pee Wee Brown get hot.
We've been saying it all game. You just cannot let him get hot. I mean, he's starting to heat up. And at this point, it's too late. But as both teams take a break, we will as well. Stay tuned for Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Welcome to EC 103.1 for a second half coverage of this game between your Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. Well, Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte, here live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. And man, has it been an amazing game for the Red Devils, who are starting to finally find their rhythm here in the second half.
It took a few minutes for them to get they got their first bucket field goal 5 minutes after the second half started, other than free throws. But after that, man, it was just a snowball effect, and we've been kind of cooking, and hopefully it stays that way. We can't let Blackburn try and claw their way back into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, Eureka's just been so good with ball movement. I've been saying it all game. And a crossover there from Paquette. Mid-range two, that one's going to go.
Wow. Can't do nothing about that. That was a good play by him.
Yeah, it looks like Pee Wee Brown kind of giving him a look. Paquette might have said something, but you remember Brown was in that altercation earlier. Wilson back to Gonzalez. Once again, Wilson. Now Gonzalez, corner. Bird thought about the three. Had Paquette in the air. Corner three from Banzamuna. No good. Brown comes up with it, puts it up, and good.
That offensive rebound, those second chance opportunities are going to be huge for the Red Devils going forward. Great play by Pee Wee Brown.
Yeah, and offensive boards, that was one of the keys in our pregame for our Red Devils. And they've been executing fairly well, I would say, as Grissom passes it over. That one's going to get tipped, and Gonzalez comes up with it. Eureka has numbers. Banzamuna puts it up. No good, but he is fouled. He'll get sent to the line. And that is a great job to get into transition by the Red Devils.
One underrated thing there was Wilson. The ball was on the ground, and he couldn't grab it, but the Blackburn player was coming to grab it, and he slapped it to Gonzalez. Like, that isn't underrated. That is a high basketball IQ play.
Yeah, and, a lot of teams like to make that work. If there's a loose ball, you want to just, obviously, you don't want the opponent to get it, so you kind of just slap it, but, you're taking a chance there, and here for Blackburn, it ends up in the hands of the wrong team. Banzamuna knocking down his first free throw. And he goes 2 for 2 on that play.
We need more of those from the Eureka Red Devils.
Yeah, we know. We've been talking about how they struggled just a little bit at the line, and Banzamuna able to knock both of those down as he comes out for a little break here. It's going to be Johnson back in the game for Eureka along with Ben Carter. Carter on Barr at the rim, puts it up, and no good. Bird.
Great rebound.
Another rebound, and he definitely has his third double-double of the season, or at least is close to it. Gonzalez up top. He's going to, I'm sure, look for Bird at some point. Carter in the corner. He passes it to Bird at the rim. Good, and that is a lack of defense there.
Great pass by Ben Carter. Great cut by Amarion Bird. We've been saying that all day. The cuts have been crazy by the Devils.
Yeah, lack of defense from Otis Grissom, the sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri. Mid-range from Paquette, too strong and picked up by Bird. Another rebound. Gonzalez up the floor, crossover. Mid-range 2, in front of the line, knocks it down. Eureka starting to catch some fire.
20-point lead for the Red Devils now. After Blackburn called back to 9, Eureka said no more of you.
Yeah, Grissom once again with the ball, hands it over to Cook. Cook is probably going to fight in the paint against Bird.
Charge!
Offensive foul.
Way to sacrifice the body there by Amarion Bird. Wow. Great play. Great basketball IQ by Amarion Bird.
I didn't know if they were going to give him the call or not. It looked like a little bit of a flop almost, but Bird able to sell it, and the refs make the right call. So with a 20-point lead, as you mentioned, Andrew, Eureka able to have another shot here to add on. Gonzalez over to Johnson. Now Gonzalez to Brown, mid-range. No good.
Good
Great
play by
job.
Bird.
Bird able to knock it back to Brown. It's going to be Johnson in the corner, outside Carter. 12 seconds on the shot clock, bounces. Brown able to get it up, and that is blocked. Great defensive stop from the Beavers there. Barr trying to fight against Carter. Carter's strong, we know that. And he gets it up, no good, but he is fouled.
Carter just had his hands too low, jumped right into his hands. That's going to be a foul all day. Carter knows that. He's a very smart player.
Yeah, so the clock is going to stop at 9:28. As you mentioned, Eureka leading 70-50. That 20-point lead is so crucial. And as I mentioned, Barr is going to have this opportunity here at the line for 2, missing the first one. And look, even on the free throws, Bird gets the rebound.
Even though it doesn't count. And that was a great selfless play by Marion Bird on this side of the court here. Tapping it back out to Pee Wee Brown. He doesn't get credit for that rebound. Those are the stats that don't show up in the box score that will help your team win.
I was going to say Bird wants these rebounds to count here.
And he got another one.
He is just all over the place, and that's exactly what you want to see. You know how the saying goes, you want to practice how you play, and he definitely had that little bit of practice there. Johnson faked the pass to Bird. Gonzalez bounce pass to Carter in the paint. Outside, Johnson's going to have a 3 here. Short, and this one's going to be rebounded. Barr comes up with it. Duff fighting against Gonzalez, and he doesn't convert on the layup, but he is fouled.
That was like a lot of contact going back and forth both ways there.
Yeah, and, we talk about it all the time. The end of the game in basketball always tends to, get a little bit more aggressive. On top of the clock tends to stop a little bit more.
Yeah, and these teams have been going at it hard for the last 31 minutes, so there's going to be a little bickering and bantering back and forth and a little bit more physicality than you'd want that you'd see in the first half.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised because remember we had Brown obviously getting that altercation earlier
With Grissom, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to go back and forth a lot, but it looks like it's calmed down a little bit, which is always a good thing. You never want to see two players get into anything too serious as Duff knocks both of those free throws down. Bird to Carter. Carter over to Logsdon, now checking in the game. Big pass there. Carter's going to try to take it himself. Trouble. Gonzalez able to get it up. No good, and he falls hard on the floor.
Coach Wilde is not happy about that. I can't say I blame him.
And nearly lost by Blackburn. Duff in the corner. This one shot up by Johnson and good for a 3. So Eureka, with 8:20 left in this second half, got to calm things down here, try to come, figure something out, add on to your point total. Carter up with the 3. That is short. Bird tried to get the rebound, but there are 4 Beavers surrounding him, so no good. Johnson
With the way he's playing today, it wouldn't surprise me if he got that board.
Yeah, I mean, we know how aggressive he can be, and yeah, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually ended in the hands of Bird. Gonzalez coming up with that rebound, and he's fouled.
And one thing I will say is, I've heard Kareem say it before, rebounding is one of the most underrated, underappreciated, dirtiest parts of basketball that will win your team games all the time.
Yeah, I agree, and it goes back to, especially, obviously defensive rebounding should be a given. Obviously, it's not, but it should be. So it really goes to that offensive rebounding. You want the second chance opportunities, and that is how a lot of teams these days win ball games.
Those offensive boards just show you how much you want it in a game. And Blackburn's up to 18 fouls already.
Yeah, so Gonzalez able to knock down his first free throw attempt and getting ready in his routine for his second. Bird will come out for a little bit. We have Sam DeJesus back on the floor. And he knocks down both of them. Gonzalez goes 2 for 2. It is now 72-55. Red Devils on top. Just under 8 minutes left to go in the second half. Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte, here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. And a great save by Logsdon.
Great defense, great hustle shown out of Logsdon right there.
Gonzalez will take it up the floor. Johnson thought about that 3 to Jesus getting his hands on the ball. Johnson again, back to Gonzalez. Directing traffic. Carter in the middle. Outside, here's a corner shot. No good.
Stepped on the sideline right there. Seen that twice already. You got to know where you're at the court. Coach Wilde is not happy about that.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said earlier, you just can't blame him. Obviously, you know the level of potential that your team can have. And, when they don't necessarily live up to your standards, you're going to get a little frustrated. But Coach Wilde, like I said, he's in his 19th season coaching at Eureka, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And there's a shot by Paquette that goes up after he had his defender in the air.
Yeah, Coach Wilde, 19th season, he knows what his players can do, and he knows how to get it out of them. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's not his first walk in the park, per se.
Johnson over to Logsdon, trying to find an open man. He's going to dribble over to Johnson once again. Carter in the corner, looking for the ball. Johnson hands it off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez guarded by Paquette. Crossover, mid-range, no good. And that one's going to get rebounded by Cahaligan. Large pass there. Duff on to Jesus, trying to fight through. Gets it up. No good, but he is going to have an opportunity here. It is going to stay with Blackburn, and Duff will make his way to the line.
And you saw it earlier with Duff. Banzamuna got in his head heavy. Let's see if that affects the shooting the rest of the game, because you could be thinking about that even when you're at the free throw line. Even simple shots, not even three-pointers. Doesn't have to be a three-pointer, but you could be in your head if you're not shooting well throughout the game. Yeah. Like I said, he misses that free throw. He is in his head. That's why Banzamuna, you saw him back at the Slyac logo while Duff was wide open at the top of the key. Just let him shoot. And he missed, and that gets in your head as a shooter.
I do have to say, too, I always find it very funny when the home crowd just gets absolutely silent when the player from their own school is shooting at the line. I always think it's just so funny because it's like, oh, you're trying to give him this amount of silence that will help him, but as we just saw in reality, it doesn't really help. Great stop by Gonzalez there. Hands it off to Brewer in some traffic. DeJesus gets his hand on the ball. Logs in with an idea. Brewer, top of the key over to Carter. Carter, we know, is a strong, powerful person who can fight. Logs in over to Brewer. Brewer wants a three. Bounce pass picked over there, and it looks like Gonzalez got hit in the face. No foul call, though. And
nobody had possession of the balls, and there wasn't really no foul call.
And the attempted three there is no good from Blackburn, but Barr with the rebound. Up top, it's going to be Quet. No good.
Oh, almost got a friendly bounce there.
Gonzalez will come up with it. He's going to lob it over to DeJesus, who spins around and returns it to Gonzalez. Ball movement continues to be a top story for the Red Devils here tonight. DeJesus, guarded by Barr, logs in deep mid-range. Spins in and out. Carter tried to go up, and that's unfortunate as it kind of rolled off of Carter's back and went out of bounds.
Hate that for Carter. Wasn't even facing the play. Hits right off his back, rolls out of bounds. It's on him. You saw him put his face down in disgust. You know, there's nothing he could do about it, though. He went up for a rebound, and that's just where he happened to be when he landed.
Yeah, and it's almost so funny. You know, Carter's such a tall person, and he has a pretty large vertical. As that three from Johnson, no good. We saw Carter nearly jump over his defender to go for that rebound, and obviously it was unsuccessful. DeJesus. Coach Wilde calling plays. Logston. Red Devils trying to get something to work out here. Corner pass to DeJesus. Corner three.
Bang! Sam DeJesus, 2 for 2 from 3. 6 points in the day. Let him shoot that thing.
For the first time in this half, Eureka from the arc is successful. Hanby thought about a corner three, passes it over in the opposite corner. Johnson, now Hanby back up top. Paquette, pump fake, takes it to the rim.
Oh! Wow!
Huge block by Ben Carter. And nearly another one, and he gets a defensive stop. Eureka's defense on fire.
Ben Carter got up and sent that thing back. He said, not here, not in my house. That was a great block. Momentum, Eureka.
Blackburn was looking for maybe goaltending, and obviously that wasn't the case. We can see that from all the way in the opposite corner of the floor. And it looks like DeJesus is going to have a shot here at the line to extend Eureka's lead as he sinks that first one.
DeJesus is who you want at the line right now. He's soaking it up with confidence. 2 for 2 from behind the arc this game. Made his first free throw.
Yeah, DeJesus, a very calm player.
Didn't even hit rim.
Yeah, he really likes to play. Even in pressure, he's not afraid to take on those challenges. 77-58, Red Devils remain on top. 4:20 left in this game. Duff outside, shot by Canalhan, and that is a good three-point shot. And it looks like a timeout will be taken here, and we will also take a break as well. But Eureka starting to pull away late. Stay tuned. You're listening to Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Cornerstone Family Restaurant of Eureka. Locally and family-owned for nearly 25 years by Michael and Donna Sweeney, Cornerstone Family Restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. They are open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dine in, carry out, or order online. Cornerstone Family Restaurant is located on Center Street on the west edge of Eureka. Get more information or order online at cornerstone-family-restaurant.com.
Welcome back to second half coverage of today's basketball game between your Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. Well, we mentioned it before we went to break there. Eureka really starting to pull away here in the second half. 4:15 left to go, and we are leading 77-61. Well, the three ball for Eureka starting to come alive. We saw Sam DeJesus in that corner pretty much right next to us. It's always a cool thing when you're that close and being able to see this much on, your team's offensive side. And, it's been, pretty back and forth to start in that first half. And ever since Eureka's remained strong, and as I mentioned, we're just finding our rhythm as both teams back in play. Carter taking it up the floor. Gonzalez back to Carter. A lot of time. Eureka can go slow here. You're up by a decent amount. Not too much time left. Carter trying to spin past Duff, stopping his feet. Logsdon now trying to find that backdoor cut to Brewer. DeJesus flips it to Carter. DeJesus, great ball movement from Eureka. Brewer. Carter thought about the three.
Needs to get it up.
Taking it up to the rim. No good. Rebound to DeJesus. Whoa, wide open three. Bang!
Sam DeJesus, 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Let that man cook. Bang! 11 points for Sam DeJesus.
Eureka starting to heat up. Duff, he's been getting in his own head there. No good on the layup, but he is fouled. He'll have a shot at the line.
And Duff went 0 for 2 from the line last time. You know that's in his head right now. You know he's struggling to shoot. He needs to see something goes to the hoop. Hopefully it doesn't happen this trip, but that's what he mentally needs. And you can see Blackburn, whenever Eureka went to take that ball out of bounds, full court press, trying to cause chaos, trying to cause turnovers by Eureka. Great job from Eureka by not turning the ball over, from not letting that pressure get to him, and still being patient.
Yeah, exactly like you said. Eureka's defense has been another storyline all game. And, turnovers have not really been a huge deal for the Red Devils in this game. And obviously that's something that you have to limit, obviously, for Eureka. You don't want turnovers. That's part of the reason why they lost this game against Blackburn last year. Eureka coming off of 12 turnovers in their last game. Gonzalez fighting for the basketball.
Finally, got too handsy. He does not like that call, but that is a foul.
Yeah, finally the whistle's blown. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what Handsy's really complaining about. Like you said, got a little handsy there and too much for his own comfort. So Gonzalez at the line. Clock stopping at 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Red Devils on top, 80-62. Man, it is so quiet in this gym. Gonzalez unable to convert that first one.
You love that. You love whenever you can come in like Eureka did as the away team and just suck the life out of the opposing fans. It is a great feeling. And as a player, you got to love it. As a Eureka fan, you got to love it. As the coaches, you got to love it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, there were those fans all the way across that were chirping earlier at our team, kind of saying, oh, we're going to kind of win this game and, we're better than you, all that trash talk. And, now Eureka on top. Not too much clock left in this game as Carter comes out. Wilson back on the floor for Eureka. As I mentioned, it's going to be Wilson, Banzamuna, Gonzalez, DeJesus, and Logsdon. Duff taking it up the floor for Blackburn. Flips it over to Canalahan. And his three goes in and out, rebounded by Banzamuna. Eureka could have pushed there. They had numbers with one of the Beavers on the floor. Wilson rushing to the rim. He'll throw it over to Logsdon.
You got to fully expect Blackburn to take a lot of threes going forward here with them being down and try to get back in it quick.
Yeah, I think you'd have to, right? And that one's nearly picked off. It's going to be picked up by Logsdon, but it is going to be a backcourt violation.
Not what you wanted to see as a Red Devil right there.
Yeah, and it's always different too. If it's a close game, I would be a little more upset, but Eureka up by a large margin, so you just gotta play your game for the next 2 minutes, 48 seconds, and it looks like Eureka hopefully will come away with this one.
If you're Blackburn, you really want to get back in the game, you gotta take quick shots, just like that.
Yeah, and like you said, they're gonna go for those threes. Hanby unable to convert on that shot from behind the arc. Wilson over to Gonzalez, trying to pass it hopefully over to DeJesus, who's been hot from three in this half. Banzamuna in the middle. Gonzalez with a great cut and the layup.
So you're going to see a lot from Blackburn here is whenever they are on defense, they're going to try and trap Eureka a lot, and that leads to a two-man covering one guy wide open. There's going to be one person wide open, and that one person happened to be Gonzalez. Cut down the lane beautifully. Great find, great finish.
Yeah, and that's a great defensive effort there from Wilson. Unfortunately, though, he is going to get charged with a foul. And you can see the frustration on his face, kind of like, oh, that's got to be a charge or something, but it ends up going on him. Now, Hanvey with the ball at top. Logsdon guarding him, fighting in the paint, pushing, finally getting it up. No good in the foul call. And maybe Blackburn getting away with a little bit too many calls here.
No, I would say that was a foul on Loxton, unfortunately. You could see his hand go down trying to get a block, but whenever the refs see your hand go down like that, they're going to call it 99% of the time.
Yeah, that's true, especially, at this level of basketball, you don't really have any replays on a big screen or anything, so, you're going to have to just go based on your first look at the play. So Hanby able to knock down that first one there.
Both teams are now in the bonus.
Yeah, that's right. And just 2 minutes over here in this game. Hanby knocks down both free throws. It's going to be Eureka basketball. Logs in over to Wilson. Fast break opportunity. Nice easy layup. And that is a lack of defense there.
Take those all day. That's what happens whenever you start pressuring up like Blackburn's doing. It really gives them a wide open chance for wide open layups every time. Great steal by Wilson.
Turnover. Wilson up the floor. Gonzalez another layup and good. It looks like Blackburn taking their foot off the gas, and it is going to be a timeout for Blackburn. So, like usual, they take a break. We will as well. Eureka on top, 87-64. A minute 43 left to go in this game. Stay tuned. You're listening to Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka. Locally owned by Mike and Bob Mayo, Wendy Puff Pizzeria offers a unique variety of pizzas, appetizers, salads, and desserts. Wendy Puff is open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 and Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub at 112 South Main Street in downtown Eureka. They also offer online ordering at wendypuff.com.
Welcome back to second half coverage of Eureka's first SLIAC matchup of the season against Blackburn.
And it looks like Eureka's taking it pretty handily here. 87-64. Great first way to come in for Eureka on the road, take care of business, and start off 1-0 in the SLIAC.
Yeah, and I must say, even for our women's team, the broadcast that was on earlier, if you tuned in, I mean, it's just been great basketball here tonight all around for Eureka as Grissom inbounds it over to Hanby. Hanby guarded by Gonzalez, and that one's tipped. Eureka's defense continuing to shine, even despite there only being a minute and a half left in this game. Barr, a lot of pressure, puts it up, no good. He will be called to the line.
Checking into the game after this first free throw will be Colin DeLary, along with Joel Ewald. Coach Chip giving some of the guys at the end of the bench a chance to show what they can do.
Yeah, we know Colin, not a lot of playing time. We did see him appear in that game. It was actually an exhibition, so it didn't count on the record against Indiana State. Obviously a Division I school against a Division III school. Not something you see a whole lot of, but Colin did have some points to his account. I was actually watching that game on ESPN. So yeah, as you mentioned, Logsdon out.
And Max Richardson also checking into the game as well.
Joel obviously coming in, as you mentioned. Remember, Ewald made his collegiate debut last year on the 8th of November at Aurora. So this is, despite it being his junior year, it's really his second season playing on this Eureka Red Devils team. And actually, being able to have some time on the floor. And I have to say, Ewald is just great on that bench. I mean, he is just always hyping up his teammates. He's always motivating each and every one of his players, and it's always a great thing to see. Obviously, if you're on the bench, you're not maybe at that point you want to be at, but if you're still willing to motivate your teammates, that just shows how badly you want to be there and that you're still able to have some fun.
Blake Logston at the line for the Red Devils. Twin brother of Dylan. Oh, missed the first one, a little long.
Yeah, Blake Logston we haven't seen a lot of as well. And
there he goes.
As you mentioned, it's going to be one of those opportunities where we see a lot of new players come in. Pee Wee Brown giving us high fives over here. Fighting. Barr, top of the key, guarded by Colin, who's going to put his hands up, exactly what you want to do in that situation, but Barr able to convert.
Have you ever seen that where... Oh, Max Max Richardson trying for the dunk attempt. As the entire bench gets up and gets loud for him.
Would have been really cool to see for sure, but unable to execute. Doesn't matter. Eureka up by 20. There's a steal.
Hey, have you ever seen that before where a player from the Red Devils comes up and gives you a high five mid-game like that?
No, that's never happened to me until just now. So, Pee Wee Brown the first time.
Blake Logson back to the line for the Devils.
And it's always the coolest thing when, you know, the players from your team kind of come over and be like, oh, you know, they start talking to you. It's always really cool just to see. You know, Dylan Logsdon constantly comes over, talks to us. A lot of these Eureka players are just a really great joy to be around. As Logsdon knocks down that first free throw. Under a minute left to go.
With a 21-point lead for Eureka right now.
Yeah, that's huge for the Red Devils coming in their first SLIAC matchup of the season. Getting off to an early start in those standings. And this one, Paquette, going to have a nice, easy layup with that right hand. Nearly got fouled, but it's going to be Ewald passing it over to Delaire. Taking it up the floor.
Oh, what a play by Jonah. Heads up play. Throw it off the Blackburn player as he was jumping out of bounds. That's that basketball IQ.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, this team, I like this I like this 5 on the floor for Eureka right now. I think they have a lot of great chemistry. They all, you know, they're all kind of in that same boat right now, coming off the bench, not having a lot of playing time. I think that's really good for Eureka. I would like to see a lot more of this type of 5 on the floor. Obviously, we're not going to get a lot of it, but It's nice to see while you still can. Nearly stolen there. Passed over to Logsdon. He's going to try to take a turn. He's going to get fouled.
Back to the line for his third time in a very short amount of time in the game. As he looks like he kind of upset his ankle there, it looks like. Yeah, Blackburn player is down as well. I can't see who it is.
Shaking up just a little bit, needing some extra time.
I can't see who that Blackburn player is.
Gets very quiet in this gym. Logsdon needing to be checked on a little bit. It looks like maybe that left or right leg. And actually, it looks like it's one of the Blackburn players.
I think it's his knee.
That's going to be Caden Paquette. I thought Logsdon was shaking up a little bit. It looks like, yeah, Paquette's going to come out of the game with 29 seconds left to go.
I can see him holding his knee from here a little bit.
Yeah, and I thought it was Logsdon because he came over to right next to us, and he kind of leaned against the wall. You could tell he was in pain. But now he's at the line after that foul. He's going to have this opportunity here. 4-2. First one is good.
I just want to point out, Blake got into the game, and within 2 minutes of being in the game, went to the line 3 times. You love to see that.
Yeah, and, you know, there's guys out there, especially on this team, that are just so good at drawing those fouls and getting to the line. And that's something you really like to see, especially when you're down, but it's still a close game because you want that clock to stop. You want to have those opportunities. A 3 there, no good.
Delaire just couldn't hold on to that ball whenever it came down for the rebound.
Yeah, and it looks like this one's sticking with Blackburn, but Eureka is going to come up with this one. Currently up 91-70, so that 20-point lead. There's a shot there from Hanby.
Right over the top.
That one nearly picked off, and all of a sudden it looks like Blackburn trying to throw in some extra effort, but it won't matter.
Throwing a few late jabs at the Devs.
Yeah, and, you know, they always want to have that kind of, oh, you know, we got the last lap kind of thing, but Eureka, if they win this,
hold it out.
Yeah, Eureka, if they win this game, and they're going to.
And Blake's going back to the line for a 4th time with 7.5 seconds left.
Hey, I mean, it looks better on the stat sheet.
I don't know why Blackburn wouldn't just let him hold the ball and run it out of time here. I mean, down 19. But I'm sure Blake will take it.
Yeah. And as you said, not a lot of playing time in this game, as you mentioned, and just being able to get to the line this many times is so hysterical. And you know he's enjoying his time out there right now. Logsdon unsuccessful on that first one. 7.5 seconds left, and he knocks down that second attempt. And You got to imagine Blackburn just holds it out for the rest of the game here. 4 seconds left.
I doubt it. They'll put up a shot.
Hanvey, and they do put up a shot. As you mentioned, 1.4 seconds left, and Eureka's just going to hold on to it. And the clock expires, and that is how this one ends. Eureka wins their first SLIAC matchup of the season, 92-74. And, I mean, we talked about it earlier. That first half, Eureka off to a hot start, kind of started to slip away. And, you know, a lot of back and forth in that first half, and it wasn't until the middle and end of this second half where Eureka finally found their rhythm, started to pull away, and ended up coming on top.
Yeah, like you said, you know, Eureka got off that hot start, and then Blackburn played really well. You have to give them their flowers where it's due. They played really well, clawed back into the game, got down by 5, went down to halftime. Eureka up 16. Blackburn crawled back down by 9. Then Eureka just put their foot on the gas and didn't look back. Got over a 20-point lead, you know, ended up winning this. Great way to start off SLIAC play. Great performance great team effort. Everybody really did at least a little bit. They did their part. Everybody did their part, and that's what you need going forward. Great way to start 1-0 in the SLIAC, 2-3 overall. Lots of confidence with this Eureka team right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And like you said, there were some key players. Obviously, Sam DeJesus coming in clutch from 3. He played a big role. But, again, there are many other players on this Red Devils team that really stood out tonight. And you know they're going to feel good coming home tonight after this huge win. But for now, our next broadcast of Eureka College basketball is going to be on November 30th. This is for men's, when Eureka, they're going to visit Rockford. Here on EC 103.1, you will be able to listen to that broadcast. Coverage begins at 3:15 p.m. live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Eureka Red Devils basketball women's next game is going to be on Tuesday, December 3rd. They are going to host St. Mary. You can watch that broadcast on ECTV. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies, a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois, by Wendy Puff Pizzeria and Pub in Eureka, and by Cornerstone Family Restaurant in Eureka. The executive producer of Eureka College is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator was also Dr. John Malone. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Andrew Schulte, my name is Matthew Swan. Thank you for listening to Eureka Red Devils basketball here on EC 103.1.